What is up? Happy Friday. Happy 3-day weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. It's the Recap Lunch Hour with Guff, me, Ryan McGuffey, and it's all brought to you by our fine folks and partners at Hooters. Maybe you can check out Hooters this weekend. One of the 11 Chicago area locations. Go to originalhooters.com to find the location nearest you and maybe get that Paloma to start your weekend, the drink of the month, which is $8. Lot to talk about. It's actually sunny in this beautiful city of Chicago for once. For God's sakes, we need it as we turn the corner. It's the official start of summer, as we all know. Yet the temperatures need to get beefed up here pretty quick. So Memorial Day is usually a barometer of Major League Baseball teams knowing a lot about who they are. Usually that's at about the 60-game mark. In this case, it's the 50-game mark because Memorial Day comes a tad bit earlier this year. So we throw the question out there, what's the Cubs' biggest need in order to be a World Series contender? They're sitting at 10 games over 500. That's the best that they've been all year. There's plenty of questions. I know there's some thoughts about Caleb Williams. Tim Elko's being optioned to AAA for you Sox fans. The recap bet of the day, that's what happens when you get greedy in gambling, folks. When you turn in 3 bets of the day and not just your favorite bet, it happens. We have a 1 and 2 day. The Florida Panthers did their job. Comments are galore coming in here. I want to know what you guys think. What's on your mind for the weekend? And Eric starts us off, per usual, saying that the Cubs need a closer for sure, and another bullpen arm wouldn't hurt either if they want to contend for the World Series, plain and simple. I think it's very evident that their biggest need is more bullpen. However, Palencia at the back end is very intriguing. He's got closer stuff, throws 101. He's young, and look, at some point you need to start somewhere. A lot of times you don't want that kind of pressure on a young guy going into the postseason. And I thought about that when I said this. I was like, before I came on, let's figure out, there's plenty. How about Bobby Jenks in 2005? Was the third closer for the White Sox that season, was a rookie. They went all the way. He got the save in the final game of the World Series. The chain busts off the neck. We have examples in this town of rookie closers getting it done. Eric says, I heard from Bruce Levine, my guy, my buddy Bruce, regarding the 2027 All-Star game at Wrigley Field. If that's the truth, can you imagine how much revenue Ricketts would make based on the All-Star game? So they think it'll be about 250 to 300 million of revenue for the neighborhood, the city, etc. Keep in mind, it's a Major League Baseball event. So all of the revenue doesn't necessarily go straight to the Cubs. There's revenue sharing with all the All-Star games, but the Cubs have officially not commented on this story and said there's nothing to report. A lot of times this stuff comes out at the All-Star break for the next All-Star game. So Bruce is not wrong in reporting this stuff. As he said when we did Inside the Clubhouse in the winter, this was something that the Cubs were trying to get done when they agreed to do the renovations all those years ago, that this could be an All-Star game that was awarded to them almost as early as 10 years ago, but they needed to firm up the security. And if you guys have been around Wrigley Field, on Waveland, on Sheffield, you have the big bridge or whatever, the big arms, the steel, the pop tire contraptions. The security around Wrigley Field has always been a concern for Major League Baseball, and it seems like they've taken the protocol and the proper steps in order to get that done. Becky was traveling. She made it to Indiana, so Becky, appreciate you hopping on from your non-home state. Pablo, Tim going to Charlotte is not the end of the road, but going to drown my sorrow in Chef Paul's Pizza at Pizzeria Uno. That's not the place, Pablo. It's Easy Street. Chef Paul's place is Easy Street. And then go get some Hooters. Maybe start off at Hooters, Pablo. Have one of those Big Daddy mugs, and then make your way over to Easy Street. So now I want to take Pizzeria Uno off. We got Lou Malnati is a proud partner of this channel here, and Pizzeria Uno is not. So we got to get Pizzeria Uno. Oh, it's Easy Street Pizza. Easy Street Pizza. Good stuff, though, Pablo. Appreciate you, as always, being on. What's up, Swayze? What's up, Eric and Swayze? Frontline starter and a closer, the end. I think Swayze, no doubt. I think they absolutely need another dude. There was something on Cap's radio show this morning on Shot or No Shot that by the end of the year, Cade Horton in August will be the team's number 2. And both he and Jesse Rogers said shot. And that was like not, and this is nothing against Cade Horton. It just tells you when Shota comes back, it's probably Matthew Boyd right now. They definitely need a guy to step up and go make a big trade for. I keep saying, keep an eye on the Atlanta Braves and what they're doing or what they're not doing. They're getting Ronald Acuna back tonight. If they don't make a run with Acuna, I at least am calling about Chris Sale. Don't understand the move to send Elko down. Let the dude figure it out in the big leagues. Lip. So the White Sox have had a couple of guys down in AAA doing rehab work. Andrew Benintendi, Michael Talkman, Corey Lee. And I think they're ready to be activated. Here's the problem I have. Like with this team, I just want to see, even if Tim Elko, and I'm going to do a podcast on this later, even if Tim Elko is not in your plans long-term, let's say 27 and beyond, let's see what he is now and maybe into next year. What you've seen from Andrew Vaughn isn't good enough. And I know he's owed $6 million this year, but I want to know about the dudes that I have in the immediate future, in the immediate and far future. I want to know about Chase Mydroth and Edgar Carroll. I think I know about those guys. I want to see how it transpires and progresses. Obviously, the Cannons and the Davis Martins and the Shane Smiths and the Sean Burks, want to know about them. And I want to know about guys coming up behind them, the Kyle Teals, the Colson Montgomerys, etc. But I'm not going to lie to you. Tim Elko, even if you don't think he's a long-term, let him cook up here. I don't like it. And I know sometimes it's odd man out, and this might be one of those odd man out situations. But this doesn't make sense on this particular team that's 15 and 35. Oh, Frankie's chiming in. That's old Frankie. Good old Frank, our little Frankie. So chiming in, another starter wouldn't hurt either. Breck Bear doing a little start bench cut of Memorial Day weekend. This is the punishment for doing the show from home, is that you get the dog. Frankie, start bench cut Memorial Day weekend. Pool, barbecue, sleeping in on a day off. Breck Bear bringing it. Hang on for a second, Breck. We got to give you the proper treatment, buddy. Start bench cut. Let me get you the start bench cut. Oh my God, this could not have Sean. This could not have gone worse at the timing. Start bench cut from my guy Breck Bear. Holy crap. Please make this go viral. This is a moment for sure. So, just happen to be doing a live show. We got chaos. I'm on the air right now on YouTube. What is going on here, folks? It's completely off the rails. Start bench cut, pool, barbecue, sleeping in on a day off. All right. For me, I'm starting the pool, which leads into the barbecue or vice versa. So I'm going to bench the barbecue knowing it leads to the pool, or the pool leading to the barbecue. And I'm going to cut sleeping in on a day off. Even when I want to sleep in, a lot of times I can't. I'm going to say I could sleep during the barbecue and the pool. I'm going to combine them all together. Start, bench, cut in that order from my guy, Breck Bear. Pablo, where did you get that fresh cut, bud? Looking sharp. Michael's, man. Michael's on Oakton Avenue up in Skokie. That place is legit. Go see my guy, Andy. That group does it better than anybody. Andy at Michael's. He is the dude. Becky will be back in Oklahoma on Sunday for those looking for Becky in Oklahoma. As far as the Cubs' needs, they are more likely to have solutions to the bullpen from within. Palencia, Hodge, even Luke Little down at AAA need a starter at the deadline. Here's a guy Cap believes. There's my guy Sean Keneally over here. I'm dropping names left and right. I like this. If the Cubs acquire a starter, could you see Ben Brown late in games? Could Ben Brown move to the bullpen and have a Palencia Brown type closing situation? I think you could. Phil, I completely disagree that third base is going to be something that the Cubs address. Closer and starting pitcher, I think we're all back. I think we're all on the same page on. But third base is Matt Shaw's. Matt Shaw is going to be the third baseman of the Chicago Cubs team now and throughout the rest of the year. And I think that's going to be the case. I think whether you like it or not, he's shown already in this limited time back that he's ready to go. And I think he looks like a different player. Becky says when Shota comes back, I think Brown goes to the pen. Right on cue. The real Phil Simms. It's over in the Eastern Conference Final for the Canes. The champs are on another level. Dude, you're talking, the Florida Panthers are playing historic hockey, historic on the road. They're doing something that no team in the history of the NHL has done. The amount of goals they've scored on the road this postseason is the most in history for a road team. Kyle, happy Friday. Ready for the long weekend to be serious World Series contenders. The Cubs needed a closer like in 2016. Need a Aroldis Chapman-like player. Another starter wouldn't hurt either. Come on, Jed, get Tom to give you his Cubs debit card. Go Cubs. Breck, chatter that the Cubs are looking at Ryan McMahon at third. How about Breck's Colorado Rockies? We thought the White Sox were 15-35 a year ago, which is what they are right now. The Colorado Rockies are 8-42. It's the worst 50-game start since 1895. 8-42. They're on pace for 26 wins. That would shatter. That made people forget about the White Sox pretty quickly. Ryan McMahon at third. All-star. He's owed so much money, Breck. I don't see a scenario where the Cubs trade for Ryan McMahon. He's owed a ton of money after this year, and the Cubs have a guy that they truly believe in, and it's a top 25 prospect. Not a perfect marriage. Swayze says, I would agree. Palencia does make me pause a little. Dude has electric stuff. Lip, watching the Panthers Canes shows you why you need guys who have sandpaper in their game. Hockey is still hockey. Good win for the Thunder last night. Not so good for the guys who had Julius Randle. That's what I said about starting the broadcast with getting greedy with the bet of the day by throwing you guys 3 bets of the day and feeling Julius Randle was going to be a dude. Nope, not so much. If this is true about the All-Star game, hope the CBA works itself out as it expires in 2026. Would be cool to see an All-Star game at Wrigley. Kyle brings up a very valid point. For all of you celebrating the fact that the Cubs have the 27 All-Star game, which again, not confirmed, I think they're going to be on strike in 2027 as of right now. So this could be all for naught. Now, what would happen is usually in a scenario like that, it would carry over. So the Cubs may get it in 28 and everyone bumps down one. Easier said than done when you're talking about infrastructure and promises made to other cities. But if you're on strike, there's no All-Star game. Erica, so sorry I'm not on here as much. Been really, really work busy. Erica, we've all been there. I appreciate you chiming in whenever you can. Thank you for being on. Ricketts had the Winter Classic too. Where's that money? Not in the team, that's for sure. Godfather, welcome to Friday from the top rope. Love it, my friend. Again, the Winter Classic, all that money's not going to one organization. It's just not. Revenue sharing, NHL, etc. Now, don't get me wrong. The concessions and the money around there and the little winter wonderland they created, that's a different story. Dustin, good weekend of baseball expected in Ohio this weekend. Got Cubs and Clippers in Columbus tonight. Taking in the Cubs and Reds on Saturday. Speaking of Iowa, it's time we start mentioning Christian Franklin as a player ready to come up. I love when you guys do all the homework for me. Michael, Panthers, another dominant win, 5-0. I think the worst shutout loss ever in Hurricanes history in the playoffs. Godfather still under the luxury tax. Same old cheap story. Hey, Godfather, I have a question for you tonight. Who's the closer? Throwing it back at you, my friend. Terry, Horton would probably be on an innings limit. Can't count on him come October. Interesting take. It's hard to dispute that. I don't know. I don't know how much. That's why you manage the innings, I think, now, and then build yourself more in the tank later. We'll see. Sean, will the Cubs acquire a third baseman, and what starters will be available? This is a very open-ended question, but I do not think they're acquiring a third. I think you guys all wrote off Matt Shaw in 2 weeks. I think every one of you, well, most of you, wrote off Matt Shaw in 2 weeks. He's back and he's here. And I think he's here to stay. Let him hit low in the lineup. Let the rest of your guys do the work and let him play a solid third base. I think Matt Shaw is going to be a dude. So why would the Cubs give up assets for a third baseman that now, if they have a guy they believe in long-term, I don't know. I just don't see it. My man Godfather with the Ricketts pile driver. Chef, I'm loading up on Minnesota at home in basketball. Chef giving us a little weekend play. Chef, sorry I could only go 1-2 last night for you, pal. That's on me. I should have just given you the Florida Panthers, and we could have been talking about how hot we remain. That's fine. That's part of sometimes you need to check yourself. I got checked last night. All good. Knicks better win tonight. If not, the series is over. Indiana will not lose 4 out of 5. See Minnesota winning both games this weekend. I like Minnesota as well. I have a thought about the Knicks. It might be a tease for the bet of the day coming up here in just a minute. Becky says, Cubs, please get the W tonight. Clyde, I'm not ignoring your comments. The Clippers should be the dumbest team in basketball for letting SGA go to Oklahoma City. How about the Dallas Mavericks letting Jalen Brunson going to the New York Knicks? We could go up and down here. The Mavericks had Porzingis, Doncic, Brunson. I mean, Brunson's a dude. Okay, I don't know if they're the. You could say if you're putting Clippers ahead of dumbest team, can you insert Bulls here, please? Thank you. Well, Nolan Arenado will be on the Cardinals by the end of the year. As of right now, the way the Cardinals are playing, Nolan Arenado is going nowhere. Here, I'm going to pull up. If the Cardinals continue this stretch that they're on, now are they going to win 10 games in a row a bunch of times this year? I don't think so. They're hovering around 500. They've lost a couple in a row, but that's good enough to stay in it. The question is, where are they a month from now, Sean? That's the question. Competition at first base only makes Andrew Vaughn step his game up to keep him long-term. No. Andrew Vaughn, I think we know about Andrew Vaughn at this point, Lip Ripper. I think we know. He's not the guy who was the third overall pick, not the guy we thought we were getting. Dan, they need bullpen arm and a starter. What's up with everyone wanting to trade Shaw? I don't think anyone wants to trade Shaw, Dan. I think people have fell asleep on him and forgot that this guy is believed to be their next dude at third base. Okay? Everyone saw the first 2 weeks and was like, that's it. We don't have a third baseman. All-star game in Rickettsville. The rich get richer. Team still needs a closer. You know what doesn't need a closer, or what a good closer is Hooters. Hooters, the fine, proud partner of this program here on the REKAP Lunch Hour. Go get a Big Daddy mug to start off your weekend. Dos Equis, Blue Moon, Summer Shandy, the tender tacos, the cinnamon pretzel bites help to finish off every meal. And, of course, I already mentioned it, the Paloma, the $8 Paloma, the drink of the month for the remainder of the month here in May as the calendar turns to June next week, which is unflippin' believable to me. OriginalHooters.com to visit one of the 11 Chicagoland locations nearest you. Order.Hooters.com if you are looking to put in a pickup order to go. Young, would you trade Nico Horner, Amaya Shaw, Ian Happ for Paul Skeens? Okay. Let me ask you a question, Young. Why in the God's green earth would the Pittsburgh Pirates do that? You already have Nico's under contract already. Nico and Ian Happ are veterans. Okay. They want young. Amaya's a starting catcher and Shaw's a starting. The that trade would never happen. The Pittsburgh Pirates would never, ever do that trade. And I know it'd be like, why? They're getting young players. Not happening. Not happening. Good idea for the Blackhawks to hire Jeff Blashill as head coach. He'll be introduced next week. Will you do a Memorial Day recap lunch hour? TBD. I thought about it and I'm not quite sure yet. I could. We'll see. See what the demand is. Blashill's press conference scheduled for Tuesday saw the Hawks are the betting favorite to land Mitch Marner. Not a bad player to add with Bedard. Let's go Hawks. Just concerned about those of you who watch Mitch Marner, especially in the playoffs when he's a no-show. Nice buzz. Thanks, Young. Got trimmed up today. Will you be doing a memorial? Oh, it's a TBD. Start bench, sleeping off the hangover, cut. Oh, start the pool, bench sleeping, cut the barbecue. Jimbo, have a great weekend, my friend. Go Sox. Appreciate you, Jimbo. Becky, Mom and I are doing the Abbey Road on the River Festival. Beatles music. Very cool. I like the Hawks head coach hire. He sat under Cooper in Tampa Bay for the last 3 years. Eric, I agree with Ben Brown's shift. He's a 3-pitch pitcher. I feel like he's better suited for the pen. We'll see what happens there. Pablo, I still have the Sun-Times paper from when all the All-Star game was at Wrigley in 1990. I was out of the country and my dad sent it to me. I'm a Sox fan, but I hope it happens. I hope it happens too. I love the All-Star game. I've covered a bit of them. I went to the one at the rate back then, U.S. Cellular Field in 2003. So I've been 03. I've covered it in Detroit in 05, Pittsburgh in 06, Nationals. I think that was 19. I covered that one. I covered the one at Petco Park in 2017. I think when the entire Cubs starting infield was the starters in that All-Star game. Miami covered the one that was down there. I think that was 2016, maybe ish. 2018. Maybe 2018 was the one in Miami. So yeah, I love the All-Star game. I think it's just an awesome event. Acuna returning will give the Braves some serious juice provided he can return to form. I wouldn't look for those guys to sell just yet. Me either. It's more about keeping an eye on them and keeping your fingers on the pulse of what happens to that team. Game 2 tonight with the Knicks and Pacers. Hope Halliburton hits an actual game winner tonight in MSG. Tyrese will keep showing that the Bulls are light years from being taken seriously. Hate saying it, but go Pacers. Hey, they've earned that. That's the way I look at it. The Bulls have earned that, Kyle. Shaw's here to stay. Totally agree. Josh, why does Porter Hodge always get cast aside in the closer conversation? He shouldn't, Josh. I think Palencia, like if I were given a nod in terms of stuff and like strikeout stuff. I mean, Porter Hodge, by the way, I don't want to poop on him either because Porter Hodge, his strikeouts per 9 is, I think, in the 10s. So the problem with Porter Hodge is right now he's on the IL. And with him being on the IL, we don't know exactly when he's coming back just yet. And in 21 games, he's got a 5.12 ERA. Maybe that's why he's on the IL. In 19 and a third innings, he allowed 18 hits. To put that in perspective, he allowed 19 hits all of last year. 19 hits. He's given up more runs already this year than all of last year. Okay. 19 strikeouts and 19 and a third. Strikeouts per 9 down 2 full. Like last year was 10-9. This year it's 8-8. Maybe he's got an injury. Or obviously he's got an injury, but maybe there's something, hopefully not serious. Watching the OKC home games is tough. The fans look like the COVID area cutouts sitting in the stands. Make some noise. I love Breck's passion for the Oklahoma City fan base, which I keep hearing. It's the most college-like atmosphere in the NBA. Well, first of all, it's the most college-like city in terms of all the cities you go to. Oklahoma City. But I see what Breck sees. I see a bunch of fans wearing the same blue shirt. MVP. MVP. That's what I see. Come on, Guff loyalists. Hit the like. Appreciate you, Terry. Would not. Well, I would. I'm poo-pooing the trade because I don't see it happening. Shay, I'd like to see the Cubs grab a good, controllable young starter and a closer. I really liked all 3 Marlin starters that threw against us. The one kid on, what day was that? Wednesday? He was the number 3 overall pick of the 2020 draft. You're going to have to give up a boatload, Shay. Now, you do have the prospect capital that teams are going to seek. And if you can acquire somebody like that, yeah, I look at even the names you thought you were looking at as early as 3 weeks ago have changed. Like Pablo Lopez in Minnesota. Minnesota's over 500 now. So it's more about like, here are the teams, guys. I'm going to read you teams. They're not many. I think the Orioles are a fit for a back end closer. These are the teams that are, let's call it 3 games under 500 or more. 3. Tampa Bay Rays, 3 games. Baltimore Orioles, Chicago White Sox, or Sacramento A's, Washington Nationals, Miami Marlins, Pittsburgh Pirates, Colorado Rockies. There are 8 teams in Major League Baseball. 8 that that are 3 games under 500 or worse. That's it. So right now, in terms of trying to figure out, it's harder than it is. We can throw names out there all day long. It's not that easy. It's okay on last night's bet with Chef Paul Guff. I got his pizza place wrong. LOL. Going to check it out this weekend. Chef Paul. College baseball. I know Lip loves giving the college baseball picks. LSU and Arkansas. Give them both the run line. I like it. Anyone in our group have a pick for the Indy 500? Man, I love the Indy 500. Been to it several times. I think it's one of those things that everyone must at least go to once. It's that cool. Any place you could walk in with a cooler full of whatever, and they'd say, hey, have a great day. Pretty incredible in 2025 if that can still happen. I don't have a pick. I mean, the old days when I'd go to the race, everyone got 4 drivers and you put in like $25 and you pulled the numbers out. That's always the fun way to do it. I don't have a pick, Chef. I may have to take a look at it as we get closer to Sunday. Phil, when Boyle comes on, ask him how aggressive the Hawks will be because the wild card will only get tougher. Hey, Phil, guess what? I'll tell you when he's coming on, you ask him, my man. Rhino went 1 for 35 to start his career. Leave Shaw alone. Amen. Petco was 16. Miami was 17. Washington was 18. Okay. All right, Phil. I was at all 3 of those. You throw Brown, Assad, Hodge, Presley, Keller, and a big-time closer in that pen, and come September, October, I like our chances. Me too. Joe, I've never seen a pitcher like Valencia throw so hard, and they hit him rather easily. Well, his fastball right now, you can catch up. Ask any hitter. They're not afraid of speed. You can catch up to speed if the pitch is just the pitch isn't moving and it's straight, you can take a half step back in the batter's box. Okay, you can catch up to speed, but you got to have pinpoint control and some type of wipeout pitch. Enjoy IC this weekend, Guff. I'm jealous. Yeah, Eric. I'm going to see a munt this weekend, so it should be fun to get the families together. Corey, if Palencia could not randomly lose control like he does, I would ride with him. That's why, for now, I'm okay. What time and day are you on the score? Right now, Jimbo, nothing in the hopper yet. David Hawk came back in the baseball show. I just got asked, actually, for some days in June, so I will let you guys know if and when that happens. I'll bet those fans won't be comatose like they were in Seattle. Ooh, a shot to the Oklahoma City Thunder fans. All right, it's time for the bet of the day. Okay, all right, I admit it. I got greedy. I said, let's go after 3. Let's go. Why not 1? Let's go after 3. We went 1-2 last night, so we'll take the dub. The Florida Panthers over 2.5 goals was cash city. Easy money. Anytime you can cash a ticket by 7:45 on an evening, that's a win. And the Panthers had a 3-goal lead after 1. Incredible, incredible stuff. And then Julius Randle had the career worst game of his playoff career. It just happened to bite us in the ass. So it is what it is. This might be a controversial pick. I like the Knicks tonight. I do. I think we're going to learn a lot about the Knicks. I'm staying off the prop train. I'm going straight with a number here. I actually was going to give you guys Knicks -4 at heavily juiced. And I'm like, this crowd doesn't like the juice. The Knicks, after a loss this postseason, have won every time. What happened to them? They are better than what happened to them in game 1. With the Knicks crowd behind them, I think Tom Thibodeau, who should not be blamed really at all, I don't think he should be last on the list of people to blame for the game 1 loss. I think he's equipped to overcome what happened in game 1. And if not, this is a loss I'm willing to take, because then I don't know who I thought the Knicks were. I think the Knicks bounce back. I think we're going to see a really incredible series. I think it could go 7. Now, game 1 may determine who wins that series. I'm laying the 6 tonight. The Knicks went on a 14-0 run with Jalen Brunson on the bench. If the Pacers can't overcome or add to when Jalen Brunson's on the bench, good luck. Like, you're not going to be able to do that. There's a reason my stats are so overloaded about what they did the other day. The reason why it's 977-1 is the record when leading by X after, it's because it's impossible to do. I'm going with the Knicks. I'm laying the 6, and bam. Hopefully you do too. Let's hop back on the horse. Hopefully you rode the Florida Panthers last night. I was looking at Dallas Stars and Edmonton Oilers picks. They're kind of all over the map. Any thoughts on the Ross Tucker comments about Caleb? I don't know him, but it just seems like clickbait. Caleb is going to be just fine. Here's where I'm at on Caleb. I think he should just address it so we can stop, aggregating this comment. But all we're doing is spinning it in circles. And I guess until he addresses it, it'll just be thrown out there by radio hosts and I guess even us. Okay, what's going on with? I am so ready to move on and see what this kid can do under Ben Johnson. I could care less about the pre-draft process. If my son was getting drafted, I'd want him to go to the best location too. And if it meant trying to figure out a way to not go to Chicago and it didn't work out, it didn't work out. It is what it is. But that was 14 months ago. Actually, 15 months ago at this point. I was never worried about Matt Shaw, says Erica. You might remember my comment from a couple of weeks ago when the schedule soft and they'd bring him back up. And they did. I don't know yet, Phil. When I know if they're going to introduce him Tuesday, I'll probably try to have him on Wednesday. Hope all the Lunch Hour crew has a happy Memorial Day. See you on Monday at 12:30. Please let us know, Top Guff. Well, guys, keep an eye on the social channels. We'll let you know. The Knicks -6 tonight. And what I feel is a must-win situation, which is why I'm going to lay the bet of the day on the New York Knickerbockers and see if they can't bounce back. I think Caleb easily throws for 4,000. As long as he stays healthy, Charles, I easily will back that comment. Everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy time wherever you are, whether you're with family, friends, yourselves, somewhere in between. Travel safe. There's going to be a lot of people traveling. If you're going to warmer weather, if you're already in warmer weather, bring it back to us. We need it. desperately. Have a great weekend. I'll let you know about Monday. It's the Recap Lunch Hour with me, Guff, Ryan McGuffey. We're guaranteed at least a 500 week in the bet of the day, which would get us into 4 straight winning. I'm looking for a win. That'd be 4 straight winning weeks. Have a great day. Breck, go outside and touch some grass, nerds. I love Breck so much. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the weekend. Take some time for yourself, man. For God's sakes, let's go. It's all brought to you by Hooters, originalhooters.com. The Paloma, $8. The rest of the month, $6 cocktails, Big Daddy mugs. Let's go.